you're coming downtown to engage in this kind of lawlessness, you are not welcome. Stay home or go home.
Indy's chief of police frustrated with violence and announcing new safety changes after a deadly holiday downtown. 2 teens killed and 5 other people hurt in a mass shooting just hours after 4th of July fireworks. Tonight, we are digging into the new plans from cameras to curfew enforcement to keep downtown safe. We're also hearing from city leaders and faith leaders pushing parents to be accountable for their kids. But let's start with what happened early this morning, that mass shooting that took 2 lives. Just hours after thousands gathered for the downtown fireworks show, an explosion of violence. 7 people shot, most of them teenagers. A 15-year-old boy and a 16-year-old boy both died from their injuries.
I gotta be honest, I'm tired of it. You should be tired of it.
So this police chief about to give his 2 cents on the 2 people that died, 15 and 16-year-old black males. Another 5 people were shot as well during this incident. You know, he mentions, and we're going to watch the clip, they made 20 arrests before this even happened. And he keeps it all the way tall. Now, one thing he doesn't do is say the culture, the community, the color, the nationality of the victims and the perpetrators. This isn't a siloed incident. We always hear every time there's a parade, Jamaican Day parade, Caribbean Day parade like we got in Connecticut, you know somebody getting popped. You literally go out there at your own risk. We know this in advance. Every time we have a long weekend or holiday, so-called holiday weekend, we see a lot of people getting shot, maimed, and killed, like these 2 kids in this incident. Listen to the police chief, see what he got to say. Now, he got to be diplomatic. He can't be super duper direct, but he got 1 million views in a day. I think he literally illustrates how tired people are. Is this the black fatigue that they talk about?
My name is Tanya Terry, and I'm the Deputy Chief of Operations for IMPD. As always, this information I'm about to share with you is preliminary and subject to change. Before I get to the incident, let me say that my thoughts are with everyone that was impacted by this incidents of violence out here tonight, including the victims, their families, and the first responders that were managing this chaotic scene and rendering aid. Here's what we know so far. At approximately 1:27 a.m., officers were investigating a disturbance at Washington and Meridian Street. They were notified of another disturbance down the street at Illinois and Washington Street. As officers were approaching that second disturbance, they heard shots fired, and as they arrived on the scene, they encountered several people suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Officers and IEMS medics who were immediately began rendering aid to the victims that they were encountering. They also called for several additional ambulances. In total, we had 5 victims transported away from the scene to area hospitals for treatment. A 6th victim was pronounced dead on the scene. A 7th victim walked into an area hospital and is in stable condition. 3 of those victims are juveniles and 3 are adults. We do not know the identity or the age of the victim that was pronounced dead at the scene. The victim who died at the hospital was a juvenile. We have also recovered several firearms at the scene. We do not yet know whether those firearms were involved in this incident. Our detectives will work to determine that. And we have multiple people, about 7 people detained for further investigation. We also don't know their involvement at this point in time. The investigation is early. I think that's the very brief facts that we have at this time. At this point, I'll turn it over to Chief Bailey.
Chris Bailey, Chief of Police for the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. I'll just add on a little bit to what she said about our thoughts and prayers for the victims here tonight, their families, and the long road ahead for all of them as we try to uncover exactly what and why this all happened tonight. This kind of violence, whether downtown or any of our neighborhoods, is completely unacceptable and unnecessary. Unnecessary. Thousands of people came downtown tonight, enjoyed the fireworks, and went home. Thousands more chose to come down here and all night cause trouble. I was down here until about 12:30 tonight. I worked with my officers, took the runs with them, dealt with the disturbances, dealt with the utter disrespect for our city, for our laws, and for law enforcement. Hundreds of unsupervised kids down here. I don't know how many times I have to say it. We are not your children's keepers. You are. And parents and guardians have got to step up. A kid is dead tonight. And we just don't know the age of the young man down the street, still here, dead. He looks young. It's unacceptable. The police department all night long went from place to place to place, trying to prevent these kind of things. And I gotta be honest, I'm tired of it. You should be tired of it. This is not our job to do this. It is unnecessary. You don't have to act like this. Our officers, half a block away from before this shooting started, dealing with another group of individuals fighting. We made almost, probably, well, we're still tallying them, about 20 arrests tonight. Recovered guns that I know of before this happened from 2 kids. One of them was an assault rifle, stuffed in the front of his pants. I'm not sure anymore what it's going to take for some in our community to wake up. I've said it. This is where the kids are. This is where they are on Friday and Saturday nights. If you want to engage them, if you want to help them, you want to prevent some of this violence, this is where they are. Here, they're here. Come down. I invite all of those who think that I'm exaggerating this or that I'm saying just because it's downtown. No, nowhere else in the city is this concentration of people in one small area, less than a half a mile. Come down and see for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You can see them being dropped off by their parents, 5 or 6 at a time out of a car. You can see them jump out of Ubers and Lyfts. And you can see them jumping off the buses that they ride.
You know what's ill to me? All the chatter in the background. Now, mind you, this is an active crime scene. You can see the yellow tape behind him. So there's literally a dead body, like he pointed behind him. There's literally a dead body back there. We are so desensitized. We don't care to the point where you hear all the chatter. The behavior that he's literally addressing, you can almost tell he's projecting his voice on purpose so they can almost hear him. Like that annoyance along with the dead kid behind him is culminating. And you can see when somebody's sick and tired. Come down here and see for yourself. He ain't bluffing. Where does the honesty lie? Who is doing this? Who's perpetrating this? Who is perpetrating this madness?
Ride down that they miss and then linger around downtown. Heck, look to your left. You're still going to see some people that probably shouldn't be out here right now lingering. Not going to bars, not going to restaurants, didn't come down here to see the fireworks, shooting fireworks off at our community from the top of parking garages. Unnecessary. Any questions?
Is it going to take other city departments to step up?
No, see, we keep going back to what's the government going to do? What's the city going to do? The city's invested in this. Millions of dollars the city, taxpayers pay for police overtime to staff this 1 square mile area there was a couple hundred cops down here between state police and Capitol Police and IMPD and other police department agencies. Yes, we're going to keep doing our job. The city of Indianapolis, government, the police department is going to continue to do our job. We're not going to solve this. Not just by the police. We made 20 arrests tonight.
Bailey, you're a dad.
Yeah.
What would you say to those parents out there?
I don't understand it. I know where my kids are at all time. So maybe that's, maybe I shouldn't be that way. 16-year-old daughter. I cannot imagine letting her roam around down here tonight like she was, like kids were. Unattended, unsupervised, nothing to do. Some of these individuals that were shot could have been very well not engaged in any kind of disturbance whatsoever. But it just caught up in a crossfire. Nearly down here, enjoying ice cream. Or maybe they were down here for the fireworks or wanted to see what's going on in the circle and got caught up in whatever's happening. But look, nothing good happens after midnight. Some of these kids should not have been out here, period. They missed the bus going back. With some of the stories that we heard, one of our officers prevented 2 young girls from getting into a stranger's car because they missed the bus to go back home. Wait, you have no ability to call your parents? Your parents wouldn't come pick you up if you missed the bus? There is a problem. There is a problem. It's not going to be solved by the police. It's our job to try to keep people safe, and they did it tonight. I watched it with my own eyes. I helped do some of it. They did all the work. They ran toward the gunfire down here as they were working another fight. They're all in. They're all in. So when I hear people say, oh, we're just worried about minor things in downtown Indianapolis, no, minor things turn into big things. The amount of guns that I saw tonight on people roaming around here with nothing else to do. We can't do anything about it. Like, unless you're a kid, there's nothing, unless you're doing something with a gun or doing something illegal, we can't go up and ask you what you're doing with the gun. That turns into bad things, especially when there's fights or when there's alcohol or there's weed induced.
So can you confirm it was one juvenile and then one adult was dead?
We know for sure that there is one dead kid. The other one, dead individual, we're still. There's been nothing that occurred to make any kind of positive ID on that. I guarantee you, we're gonna share everything over the next day or so. All the arrests, what they were for. We're gonna give you pictures of the guns that we took from these kids, and we'll share more details about what happened here. And this could have very well happened in any neighborhood, but this is where the kids were. And I've told you this is where the kids were. This is where the kids are. I've told everyone this.
Where did he lie? And I'm glad that he cut the reporter off that tried to ask him, what are they going to do differently? He letting you know this shit starts in the home. The discipline. What's the likelihood if these parents were monitoring these kids that this will happen? The fact that they can't get a ride from anywhere. They just hanging down, basically loitering, right? They probably have little to no money and they just there. But they got the guns. They damn sure got the guns. An AR in his jeans. And he's saying kids. So these are 15, 16, 17-year-olds, I'm sure. But I'm glad he interjected there. Whose community has the most broken homes? What's the cause? What's the effect? What happens when there's no fathers around? What happens when the moms can't lead and don't lead? He said what everybody need to say every time this happens. And this qualifies as a mass shooting. We always think about what happened in Buffalo in the grocery store. You always think about what happened with the Dylan Roofs and things of that nature. The shooting in Las Vegas when he was shooting off the rooftop. You can see higher learning, I'm sure, in your head. But nah, this is a mass shooting. And these happen frequently in our communities. Everybody that look like me, you'd be surprised when you actually reflect back about all the parades you went to and the festivals you witnessed and the cookouts that got shot up and 5 people got hit, 1 person dead. That's a mass shooting. If I'm not mistaken, the definition is 5 or more people shot and or killed. We got to keep it tall. There are systematic things that happened and now systemic oppressions exist, but we need to control the controllables. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe and do the right thing, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'm out.